What's going on, Vidarians? My name is Vidorix, and of course, I failed. I have fallen. No. Okay, anyway. Moving on from jokes. Jesus. Give me some water. I'm already dying in my throat. Okay. Let's try that again. What's going on, Badarians? My name is Badarix Gazna, of course, and welcome back. I know it's been a little while. Oh, but I had to at least do one today because today's my birthday stream, and I think I totally forgot to update my thing, so. It probably says, like playing repo or whatever. Yeah, it says I'm playing repo, which I'm not. Okay. Anyway. So, yeah, it's been a good little minute since I've, streamed, and I apologize for that. It's been, a little bit, a little bit has been going on. Yeah, so I want to kind of talk about some things, and yeah, it's just kind of more. I just want to cover some things. First off, I want to talk about a couple of things. I have obviously met a couple new friends, as you guys know from the last stream. I streamed playing with my friends, like Randoms, Tafuni, and quote Snake Poop Boy is his channel name. I think it's now something else, but anyway. But I want to inform that I'm probably no longer gonna be recording with Garrett anymore. Nothing wrong. Just we have different opinions on stuff, and the way he's gonna be taking things, I don't agree with, and it's just more. They're harder to be trying to be more open or trying to hang out or talk with him when certain things will go against on what he believes. So yeah, unfortunately, I'm no longer friends with him. Whether or people actually, enjoyed me playing with him or not, I do apologize in advance, but yeah, we are no longer friends. Yeah, I guess another thing I want to touch up on is I'm still friends with Jazzy. I just don't play with him much, and I'm going to be quite honest, there's a lot of things he does that I'm just not a big fan of, but they're not bad enough where I just don't, like, I quote, don't want to be friends. Like, me and him still can hang out, we still, play games, and we can have fun playing the games, but I think just some of the ideas for his projects that he's doing on his channel, well, he doesn't run through with anybody else. Else, in his mind, it's what he thinks is the best idea without getting an input from anybody else. And anybody who does give input is people who usually just do whatever he says anyway. Right? Because they're just, they're just there to help him with a project. They're not, I'm not trying to make it sound like he's, manipulating them or anything. They all have the right to their own choices. But it's more of just just the logic behind it that I just don't think exactly works. I know recently he's collaborating with somebody else, and now just in case people want to go after them or whatever, if they think this is like a rant video or whatever, it's not. Their whole thing is fine. I don't mind the projects. I helped out with them. I'm actually also a part of them. So I'm fine with helping out in my own way. I just really wish they would more think about what they do instead of just thinking of a decent idea and just immediately going on with it. Okay. I'm just gonna talk about this one quick thing about what they're doing because it's the most recent example, and it just, to me, it's a reason that I think just makes zero sense, and really wish they would actually think about that. And that is creating a new Discord server. So, I'm also, just in case, not going to mention the series that they're working on, because again, I don't want to take this as like a hate video, and I don't want people anybody who ever does find this manage to find the channel and just start talking crap about it. I think the show's fine. There's a lot of confusing plot points in it, but other than that, it's it's nothing too bad, if you will. But him and his friend have collaborated. His friend also owns his own little community server type thing, and it's a reboot of the series they're working on, mainly Jazzy series and everything, which is great. But what frustrates me is they decided to think it was a great idea just to create a whole new Discord server for it, and I think it's a terrible idea for it to do that because there's a lot of processes you gotta understand. And for you got the whole, going through the process of setting up all the channels, voice channels, because it's a, role play, you gotta set a script channel so that people can send the scripts. Hold on, I'm gonna... I just hate when people want to spam me. So... Anyway. But, I think just people going far enough to going through the process of creating it, because you got to create all the channels, the VCs. He's and of course, because it's a new Discord server, you got to set up all their roles again, and then of course there's the whole setting up the other types of channels like script channel, skin channel. Well, I'm just going based off of what the original server is, and they have like a skins channel, a script channel, a general chat, a certain like particular set of members chat. It's just a process of setting it all up. Plus, you're creating all the roles for the show. Oh, and then on top of that, re-inviting everyone to the said show. Oh, and then once everyone joins, they have to, set up everybody's roles and everything. And I think it was a terrible idea to set up a whole new thing when they had a perfectly fine channel. Like, they had a perfectly fine Discord server to continue off of. It's a reboot of Jazzy's series. It's the same series he's been working on for the last, I think, 4 years. And it's supposed to be a reboot, and I just don't see the whole point for the reboot to create a whole brand new server. Or just to, for this reboot. I even stated this, and I'm going to clarify this. I've also stated this reason in the original server, and even asked why not set up a poll to give people's opinions on this, because just creating a whole new server willy-nilly and everything, and I hate to be the bearer of, like, I guess bad news, but not a lot of people actually are paying attention to that server. I kid you not, literally only a handful of people are actually joining that said server for the sessions to record or for a game night that, I added. And, I mean, he has 40 people in that server, probably more. And I think only like 5 or 6, potentially up to 10 of them actually do something. Okay. Now, of course, let's give a benefit of the doubt. This new server could just be benefited as a refresh, and just anybody who's actually still in the show could just join that server, and it's going to be all moved over there. But then it defeats the whole point of updating all the roles that were in the original server, of recurring roles, the main season 3 member roles, and just setting all that up. Pretty much, in short, is why update all the roles and create new roles for this whole new season that you're doing, just to create a whole new server for the potential season 3 and the reboot. It generally just in the end does not make any, absolutely any sense. And I don't mean to be, that type of person. And the show is fine. I do think participating in it is fine. I personally don't watch it just because it's just a show that I don't really, I don't really watch Minecraft roleplays anymore. And I just don't see the point of watching a show that, I lost where the genre it's supposed to be part of, the Minecraft roleplay genre, that I don't watch much anymore. And real quick, I will say this: if Jazzy does watch this and actually ends up getting to this point, bro, I genuinely think you are now starting to purposely ignore me. And this isn't like, oh yeah, I know I've been ignoring you and everything. Like, bro, this is getting to the point where I genuinely might just say drop my character and everything, because I'm done with this being ignored situation, just because it's like I'm supposed to be the admin in your server, and it's just I've gotten no updates. I've gotten no, things that I can help out on, like making announcements or whatever. Or you seem to have a fixation on adding people who are very similar and have a very direct and just are willing just to do whatever you want type of mindset, instead of actually having people that have different ideas and have good actual logical reasons on how things can work. Because again, this is supposed to be critical feedback. Everyone, especially when you're creating a show, everyone needs critical feedback in order to have the show grow and, be unique and be, everything. And for some people to end up feeling like they can't do a whole lot, or they get updated to this whole role and just are pretty much being left in the dark. Even though I don't talk to him anymore and I'm not friends with him, but this actually happened with Garrett, because he got this whole head writer type role, or schedule whatever type of role, and everything, and just ended up being left in the dark, and just pretty much did nothing for the next 2 months. So he ended up leaving the server. Now, I do think what he did was a little excessive, because he just left the server, and because he was frustrated over it. There was a couple of things he was frustrated at, like not being credited, and I really don't want to talk trash about this, because again, the show's not bad, but I will admit that it has a very big issue with credit. It's when when another person was allowing his show to be on his channel. The creator of the show was allowing it to be on Jazzy's channel. It ended up not being exactly fair for the creator, because I don't know if this is true or not, but the owner of the show has told me before he left and asked him to remove all the episodes, and eventually being removed from the that server completely, is that it was the whole thing of him feeling like Jazzy was taking his show and considering it his show, instead of being, the actual creator show. And it took him to leave and eventually joining back before him to barely start giving credit to his channel. But before, more drama struck and just ended up leaving. And I think just most people don't realize anymore that I just don't think a lot of people have the idea of fairness when it comes to some things, and I feel like this fairness doesn't go on, if you will. Because I always like to be fair, give other people's opinions, get some people's ideas. Yes, ask people if they're actually genuinely interested, instead of just adding them and then just expecting them to join all these sessions. And I think one of the big issues I had back then when I first left the server, before I joined back the second time, was I just felt like nobody could give critical feedback. It was his way or it wasn't being done. And I think he he right now still has slightly this issue through, because again, there's no, when anybody gives an idea, because again, I had suggested let other people vote if they want to be interested in joining a whole brand new Discord server for this reboot that's not even going to be happening for a potential 2-3 years later. It's okay to be prepared for something, but creating a whole new server and trying to write stuff for this whole reboot before you're even done with Season 3, let alone not even having even started this Season 3, leaves an issue of like a unfairness, if you will. Because it leaves like NX, the head writer of the show now, for Season 3 at least, he spent, according from what he told me, he spent all night writing the entirety of the third season script, and was immediately saying that it needs to be redone and needs to have the other writers a part of it to give feedback. Okay, fine. Why is it that the script, the head writer needs feedback, but when you give an idea, it needs to be done? Like, that's the whole thing. And that, like, there's no feedback for that. Again, I'm not trying to hate on, Jazzy and his server. His server's, it can be fun, especially when it's game night. That's also another issue I have is with him ignoring me, is that, again, he has actually stated to me multiple times that he was going to make an announcement saying that game nights will be happening in my server, but continued doing it in his server instead. And even after we made up with our original issue, he decided to still not talk to me. And in fact, from earlier as you see, like, I don't know, it feels like that he got on, saw my name because he was curious on who was online, and just immediately left. Like, he just did not want to see me online. So, again, I've said this to him before, if he generally doesn't like me anymore, if he generally doesn't want me in his server or anything like that, I'll leave. I don't want to cause any more issues, but it's unfair for me to be a part of this said group just to be full and out ignored. I give a great idea of, hey, let's let people vote, and instead of creating a whole brand new server and having the hassle of recreating roles, re-inviting everybody, recreating all the channels, and then when people join, you got to set up all their roles individually, and then you got to set up all the Discord bots. It's so much of a hassle to do that when you could do this whole subject that's in your, or this whole matter in your server, something that's pretty much, and keep in mind, this server, as far as I know, is for the reboot. It is for Jazzy's series reboot. So, it's, since it's his series, it's supposed to be a reboot of that. So why create a whole new server for the reboot when you could just use the server that's supposed to be for your series anyway? Okay. I want to clarify something, is that this isn't just my issues. Before NX had joined back and became head writer, NX had this issue beforehand as well. The Unstoppable Creator also had this issue, and I've actually had some people announce in my server, when the people who have joined, that they are actually, they actually don't really want to, they're slightly frustrated on some things in the server. and I'm sorry, this wasn't supposed to be like some rant, particularly towards Jazzy's server and his series, but there's just some issues I have with the whole ideology he's doing, and it just does not work at all, and it just frustrates me that people want to just, you know, people just want to go with their own ideas instead of, especially since this series is supposed to be a group series. Like, it was thought up by multiple different people, and apparently the cast of the original season 1 all had left because they all had issues with the show. The ideas that were being said and were not correlated and was not given feedback and wasn't, proofread and wasn't, had multiple people checking and seeing if they agree. This was how it's going to go, and that's how we're going to do it. And it ended up causing a lot of people to leave, and it ended up also causing some people to no longer body act for the show. To the point where they don't even send messages. Or, they don't even join the sessions. They just send their voice lines and everything. And I just think that at that point, before, and that was for the first season, and it should have been at that point, and it should have been thought of that okay, I'm doing something slightly wrong, so I need to figure out what I did and change it, and correlate and talk to other people, get feedback, get critical feedback, because again, if you are creating a show, now of course, I'm going to clarify, I've never created a show, and in fact, I'm not even big enough on Twitch or YouTube to have people find my channel and give me this feedback myself. But what I'm talking about in this matter is the fact that he doesn't like others' feedback, is what it feels like. I have literally genuinely seen people give this guy feedback, and he has shut down because of it. They say something that he doesn't like. He tries to ignore ignore it, try to switch conversations, goes completely silent, or he just immediately gets off for the night. He cannot handle criticism in that way. It's, again, what I mean on why I think he just prefers his way, or if he thinks the idea is okay enough for him to accept it. And again, I don't mind his show. His show is fine. The show itself is okay. I'm a part of it, but being ignored and feel like I'm being pushed aside and everything, it makes me feel like that I'm no longer wanted there. I actually, in fact, left the server again because of that reason. I was feeling like I wasn't really wanted, nobody really liked me, and I was being ignored by the showrunner. The person who's supposed to give his admins and producers information for us to give announcements, but he would rather do everything himself than actually accept help, and that's where I think stuff is left. I just raised with friends. I'm not with friends. And I know I'm not playing, but I just kind of wanted to kind of talk, because it's been a while since I've actually talked, and yeah, and this was on my birthday, and I just thought of this, and I think I just wanted to get some things off of my mind, and because I just feel, I even though I've had friends tell me that I can talk to them, I just don't think I have anybody mainly to talk to. Ooh, and the main reason is just because if I talk to one person and only that could spread and everything, whereas on here I can just talk and I'm giving my own thoughts out, and it's obviously going to go on YouTube. So what I'm saying here is what I said. That way it's also not thrown under the bus. It's not twisted words or anything. I am generally giving my personal thoughts. I guess, and again, nothing wrong with the two people I've mentioned so far. I mean, Garrett, if he happens to watch this, whenever, if he ever does, again, I don't mean any issues with you. No. I think the time of us being friends were still pretty good, but we were talking about roommating, but just again, it's decisions people want to make that can end up being a deal breaker for me, and the way the choices he has picked was the deal breaker that I decided I was no longer going to be friends with Garrett. I'm not going to get into what those choices are, just because it's, it's his opinion, it's his personal belief, it's my opinion, and on the whole matter between us. Yes. So I'm not gonna argue. But I guess kind of moving on is this week has not been fun for me at all. I had found out that my grandma is dying, and it's not fun because, as you know, as what this I said that today what the stream was, is that this is a birthday stream, and to find out that your grandma is dying the same week that it's your birthday, it's supposed to be, a special day, it's supposed to be celebrating me getting another year older, and just to find out that the same week it's supposed to be my special day that my grandma is dying, and there's nothing that the doctors can do to help. And it really sucks because, I grew, obviously growing up, I, went and visited my grandma a lot, and, to have this thought of, this is the last time I'm gonna, sorry, this is, getting to this part it's really hard. It's really hard because, again, it's my grandma. I've known her for a while. Well, obviously, it's my grandma, but, it's just, I just wasn't expecting, I guess, this to happen this week, and it hurts because, somebody who has shown me to try to be the nicest as I can, and showing strength in other ways that's not having to result in fighting and straight up arguing, and just somebody I've looked up to. as I was growing up. Obviously, the one of the bigger ones are my parents. I look up to both of my parents, but I've also looked up to my grandma, and having her pass away, potentially soon, it's gonna take a big toll out of me, especially since it's also my birthday, because it feels like a stab in the back from the world. I'm pretty sure most people who have dealt with loss and everything can feel this, because somebody you've cared about and you've looked up to, and having grown up and being somewhat inspired about what they've done in the past, as what they've shown you in the past. In this case, showing kindness, being showing strength and other things, trying to be nice, try to put others as well as looking out for yourself. It's not, it's hard for just to say goodbye. And what makes this sting even more is that this is on it's on the week of my birthday, and it's hard because the same day I'm supposed to be celebrating more another year, and everything is not going how I thought. So it's really difficult to get words out without repeating myself as well. I mean, and what kind of hurts a little bit more is the fact that the possible last time I'll ever get to see her is through a FaceTime call. So not being able to say goodbye face to face is really hard. And then, I felt bad because during that call I didn't say much. And I just ended up sending a text message to her. Sorry, I wasn't expecting to cry during this. It's so hard. God. It's really hard for me to talk about this, because I sent a text message just saying how much I appreciate her, and and I wish I was there to give hugs and everything. it's so hard. I just feel like the last 5 years has been really tough. And I mean, like, it's been really, really hard. And I know everyone has to experience loss at some point, and it's obviously not my first time, but as I've obviously lost a lot of animals, and of course my other grandma and my grandpa have passed away too, but I just feel like between the years of like 2019 to now has been really, really tough, struggling on, being financially struggling and dealing with a lot of stress and having a lot to think about. Oh, and then dealing with, my dog passing away and, ruining having to end friendships and having frustrations about, some other things. And then now I have to think about, I'm also now having to deal with my other grandma now passing away, and it's just really hard. Because I just always have these thoughts sometimes. On top of all this is that I have these thoughts where I just feel like no one generally likes me. I seriously have thought of just sending people messages saying I'm sorry if I was annoying, and just wanting to, if they just want to not talk to me anymore, and just them not wanting to deal with me and wanting to leave me alone, and just having a lot of thoughts in my head, and it's hard, because this is why I also feel like I have no one to talk to, because I feel like every time I end up talking to someone, end up telling someone else, and then next thing you know, everybody knows what I'm going through, and they either want to just talk about it, and they just sometimes they don't say the correct things, and it just makes me feel even more guilty, and I'm also frustrated, because the person I told that I told this potential personal thing that I didn't want anybody really else to know, it decided to tell pretty much everyone else, and it just it's just not fun. And yeah, and then of course on top of that, it's like I got people telling me, hey, why don't I look for a girlfriend, and it's just I don't know. I just don't think I can just go out and find one girl I could potentially like and then ask them out, because I don't know them. I know you're supposed to get to know people, but I can't just initiate a conversation, because I wouldn't know what to say, and that's just because of how my mind processes things.
is if I'm generally there to make a friend, and it's like I'm not trying to hit on you or whatever, I'm going to be nice and I'm genuinely going to be friendly towards you. No, but if I'm generally going to try to, like, ask someone out, I can't do that because I wouldn't know what to say. And then on top of that, every girl I have end up liking has either been, nothing wrong with what I'm about to say, but they've either been a lesbian or, gay, and they've also been, they're either not looking for someone or they actually already have a boyfriend. And so it's just like, it's hard for me to ask someone out when every time I have generally liked someone, they're just one of those three options. They're taken, they're not looking for anyone, or they don't like, like men. And ultimately it's fine. I have friends and that are gay, trans, or whatever, and I fully support them, but I can't look at them. I don't look at girls or really anyone anymore, just because it just feels like I just give up, because again, every time I like someone, it wouldn't work out. But going back to previous, it just, I don't know. I think this last couple years have been really, really tough, and it's just not been fun for me. And I just don't know. Oh, and of course I have friends, and I don't mind telling multiple people, because if I tell multiple people my issues, then, obviously I'm being more open, but there's some things I would rather tell, that are just, personal, and I don't want to be talked about and it just being, full and out talked, and it's just really hard, unfortunately. And excuse me. And yeah, I just excuse me. It's just been rough, alright? Like, I want to do, I want to give content, I want to be, myself, and, all of this and that, and everything, and it's hard to do that when everything just feels, it feels like I don't, it just feels like I'm not appreciated enough. And whether that's true or not, and this could just be my mind spiraling and everything, it's just, everything. And sorry, I keep going into like different things. I want to do content, do YouTube and potentially Twitch, and have all, try to grow my own community, but it just feels hard because, trying to start off new, and then, something comes up, something on my job comes up, so I have to deal with drama at work, and then something online with between friends happens, so I'm dealing drama with online, and then I just feel so drained, and to the point where it's hard for me to sit down and want to record and have fun, and when it will just sound like I just don't want to do anything. And when it's like, I love playing games. Anyways, I mean, I come home after work and I just play games galore. I will play, Insomniacs' Spider-Man. I play Minecraft. I play the Batman Arkham series. I play Lego games. I'll play with friends. I'll play like Repo, and I love video games, and I want to start doing a type of content on one of my new channels that I'm working on with my friend, where I kind of go over review and talk about my experiences with the said game. But it's just so hard, because just the person who said they would do my script is also dealing with school. Well, plus writing the script for, Jazzy's show, and then, of course, me and NX are also doing music. So, it's hard for him to try to focus on one thing when he's got, 15 different projects going on at once. Thanks. And yes, I'm fully aware that some people might point out that the music we make is, the beat and the voice is obviously AI, and eventually we want to move off of AI. I actually want to be the one to sing my own songs, or the songs that we create, because I actually prefer having a more authentic voice. But again, with no money or anything coming in, I'm being financially struggling. It's just hard. So yeah. Again, I apologize. It's been an hour, and I've just been nonstop talking. Again, I just kind of wanted to give off my thoughts and everything, and then obviously saying what I've been going through recently. Hey, with my grandma in the hospital and everything, and getting confirmed that she only has a couple more days. It's just hard to, deal with that. And the person that you've looked up to is gonna be passing away here soon on the week of your birthday. That's what hurts. And especially since anybody who has looked up to somebody and hasn't actually felt like they've actually never really said goodbye will know the struggle that I said before, or not being able to actually genuinely say goodbye sucks, because it's the whole I'm not there. I can't fully say goodbye to her face to face. The last time I might ever see her is through a FaceTime call, a video call. And the last thing I ever said that she might read from me is just a text message, and it hurts because, somebody you've looked up to, and you don't get to say goodbye in a good way. You just have to resort to a text message and a video call, and it sucks. Yeah, I guess this is it. I I might do a stream on Friday, or Thursday, one of the two, and actually play something instead of just talking. But yeah, I think I think it's best if I decide to just kind of go to bed and just kind of let me wind down from this. Again, if like Jazzy or somebody from his server finds this, again, I'm not hating on the show, I'm not hating on Jazzy, I'm not hating on anybody. I just think some of the ideas and behind the scenes that have happened, I just think are not fully thought of and thought through. But yeah, I guess this is the end. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. See you later.